Hey guys, happy Wednesday. It's Tara here, and I'm coming to you from my living room today because it's cold outside, although maybe it's not quite as cold as it is in the Midwest. But it's still cold outside, and I forgot to turn up the heat downstairs before getting ready for this video. So I was like, ooh, I am not going down there. So I am currently sitting in my kiddo's little chair. We've all got one of these, right? And that's where I am, setting up shop here. So welcome to the video. Today we're talking about meal planning. So I've done meal planning before, but a lot of people, this is a topic that people want to talk about. They're very interested in how to make it work because we all want to save money, we all want to save time, we all want to reach our health goals, and we know that meal planning is so important. But today I'm talking about 3 things that you may not already be considering when you're doing your meal planning, okay? So if we haven't met yet, my name is Tara. I come to you live every single Wednesday around this time, which is about 10 a.m. Eastern time, to talk to you about something related to your health, your fitness, your nutrition, something that I want you to take away, something tangible that you can start working on, which is why I call these videos my Workshop Wednesday videos. So thanks for joining. Whether you're here live or if you come back for the replay, if you can just write that, say hi or write replay in the comments or whatever. I like to interact with everybody. Even if you come and show up for the replay, I don't want you to feel like you missed out, and I will still answer your questions and all of that. All right, so why is meal planning so important anyway? And before I lose you on this one, I want you to know I'm not talking necessarily about some crazy long process that you have to do. This can be completely customizable to you depending on what you want, what your time restrictions are, all of those things. So stick with me here for this one. Meal planning can be as quick as you need it to be, or it can be as elaborate as you would like it to be. Elizabeth says, hi, I'm at work. Okay, hey, thanks for joining. So meal planning, here's the thing about meal planning. You can, it's one thing to want to make a change, okay? So if you talk to pretty much anybody out there, there's going to be something that they say they want to change, especially in the health area, okay? So they're gonna be telling you about, they wanna feel differently, they wanna look differently, they wanna get stronger, they've got different goals. Everybody's got something, right? Which is awesome because we're always just trying to improve and make progress. But that's one thing, to want to make a change. It's entirely different to be willing to make a change. Once you're willing to make a change, that means you've already come to terms with the idea that there's going to be trade-offs, okay? Just like Elizabeth at work right now, you trade your time to go to work because you need to get that paycheck, right? There's trade-offs like that. We do that with everything. So you might realize that, making your goal is going to mean that you might be a little sore sometimes when you start working out, but it's a good trade-off because you know that you're getting stronger in the end, okay? So basically, for everything, there's always a trade-off. So step 1 is you want to change. Pretty much everyone sits in that spot, right? Step 2 is you're willing to make a change. Okay, now we're talking. Now you're really getting to the place where you're almost ready to actually, start something new. But step 3, this is really a big one, is when you're willing to plan for the change. Because we don't win today, we win today based on what we did yesterday. Now I'm using today and yesterday just to talk about present and past. You could have planned a week ago for today and you could still be winning. But if you woke up this morning and you hadn't already decided when you were gonna work out, where you're gonna work out, how you were gonna manage certain things that may pop up, right? Because we all have this roster of things that we know could go wrong relatively easily and quickly, right? So there's going to be circumstances that pop up unexpectedly that you couldn't plan for at all. But then there's those things that we all have. One day you're going to be sick. One day the kids are going to be sick. One day, something's going to break in the house. You're going to have to be home for a repair person or whatever. Like the things that you're like, yes, chances are at some point in this year, these things will happen. So for those things, because they happen more often than something, let's say, very serious, knock on wood, you can have backup plans for that too. So you can say, this is the way that I think my day is gonna go, but if something happens where I can't get my workout in first thing in the morning or I oversleep, plan B is gonna be, I'm gonna do it when I'm normally watching TV. Either while you're watching TV or you don't get to watch your favorite show until you get your workout in, something like that, right? So the whole point is that once you're in that place where you're ready to plan ahead for the future that you want, that's where the magic happens. So that's why we're talking about meal planning, because that's really obviously one important component here, is planning what you're going to eat, when you're going to eat, all of that stuff. Okay, so here are the things that most people do consider. They consider what they already have on hand as far as food goes when they're trying to think about what they're going to put together. Most people do consider their likes, their taste, what they want, what they're craving, those types of things. Most people do consider their budget, especially if it's got to be a really strict budget. I would say that's probably, and maybe like their go-to recipes. Like a lot of people will have a cycle where they cycle through their same recipes all the time, which is fine, because if that's working, that's great. If you want more variety, then switch it up. The truth is, if whatever you're doing right now means that you have the confidence that you want, the energy that you want, and the health that you want, you don't need to change a thing, right? You might want to still listen because you might get some other ideas, but then you don't need to change anything. But if you're here and you're not feeling confident in your body, you're not feeling happy about the level of health, maybe you've got more aches and pains than you feel like you should, maybe you're seeing signs of inflammation, something like that. Or if you don't have the same energy that you would like to have, you can't make it through your day or your responsibilities, or you don't have energy left over for the fun things, then, that's when you might seriously consider doing something different, okay? Such as meal planning. So 3 things that people don't usually consider when meal planning that I want to talk about today. Number 1, goals. Number 2, schedule. And number 3 is other people. So we're going to go through each of those things. So for number 1, your goals, a lot of people, which is so funny when you think about it, I think you're going to think it's funny, a lot of people don't consider what their purpose is, what their goals are when they're planning their meals. So they're not thinking about what kinds of food are really going to serve their goals, their body, what's going to actually fuel their body. They're not thinking about how to balance out their meals in a way that makes sense for their bodies, because everybody's needs are a little bit different. It's going to be dependent on a little bit of your age and your body size and your metabolism, your genetics. I'm somebody who cannot have a ton of carbs. My body doesn't do well on that. I still eat my carbs. I think there's a place for them. I love plants. I love me a sweet potato, but I can't do a lot of refined carbs. I have something called PCOS. It's polycystic ovarian syndrome. It's basically a metabolic disorder where my body wants to store lots of excess body fat, and it wants to be inflamed all the time, and it wants to spike up my blood sugar, and I have to be very careful, very intentional about the way I live my life and what I eat and how I move, which is one of the reasons I'm so passionate about helping other people. So think about your goals. Let's say you want to lose some weight, okay? Because a lot of people want to lose some weight, and I know it's also about getting healthier from the inside out. So you're looking to really decrease your inflammation. You need to be thinking about, are you getting enough protein? Are you getting enough healthy fats? Is it the right types of fats? Are you cooking your food in a way that promotes health? There's so many things to consider here. So another thing is about the amount of food. So this is where you're going to be considering your portion sizes too. Think about the timing of your food based on your goals. So would it serve your goals to start eating at 6 o'clock in the morning and then eat all the way up until you go to bed? Would that serve your goals or not? If not, then think about what would, and plan out the timing of your meals based on that. Hey Swan, thanks for joining. So you're going to think about your goals when you're planning your meals, okay? And by the way, I know I'm bringing up a lot of stuff here today, so if you have any further questions on this, please just write it in the comments, or you're always welcome to private message me if it's something that you would, rather not share with everybody, and I will help you to determine, what this means. Because right now you might be saying, I don't know, I don't know what my, how many macronutrients I should have with everything. So that makes sense. So you really want to be considering like the nutrition and the timing and all of that when you're doing your meal planning. So number 2, the second thing that most people don't consider is their schedule. So I see this all the time. People are like, yes, I'm going to do this meal planning thing. I got this. And then they start off like just really lofty. Like, I am going to plan 5 new meals, and and they just want to do all of it at once. And then real life hits and they realize they've got activities with the kids after school. They're just too tired to make it happen. They don't want to, all that stuff. Okay? Think about your schedule in advance. So again, like I said in the beginning, there are going to be things that come up that you didn't plan for. You got a flat tire on your way home from work or whatever. In those cases, you should have some backup options, maybe some extra food that you've already made and frozen, so you can just pull it out of the freezer. So that could be like your backup emergency stash, so that you can go to when you just can't cook, but you were planning on cooking. But otherwise, you know ahead of time that so-and-so has basketball on this day, this one's got ballet, there's Girl Scouts, there's this or that, whatever. Look at your day and think about which are the better days for you to cook, okay? Because there's going to be some days that are a little bit less hectic than others. Plan to make your meals on that day and plan to make your leftovers work for you. So if Monday is a little lighter but Tuesday's crazy, then make a double batch of whatever you're making on Monday and have it again for leftovers on Tuesday. You can also use your leftovers for lunches too. So you can really just, if you plan it out the right way, you can make your leftovers work for you throughout the week. You're saving a ton of time, a ton of stress, and a lot of money too, because you can buy these things then more in bulk. Hey Michelle, thanks for joining. Okay, so you're going to also think about when you can do some prep ahead of time. So even though Monday might be not as busy as Tuesday, you might still be a bit crunched for time because you're still doing homework with the kids. I don't know. I'm always talking from a place of being a mom, but I know everybody's got different lives. But you probably still have other things going on. So you might decide then on Sunday or Saturday or a random Thursday night or something, when you've got some extra time, that you're going to chop up some extra vegetables or pre-marinate something or make a batch of something that you can freeze ahead of time to do a little bit in advance. So whatever prep work that you can do, you should plan that out too. This should all be part of your schedule. And then the third thing that most people don't consider when they're doing their meal prepping is who they're cooking for. So think about how many servings you need. So even something basic like that, like who you're cooking for, how many times do you want it to work for you, right? So if you're going to cook it once and eat it twice, let's just say, then you're going to double the amount, but for how many people? Maybe you're cooking for a family of 4. So you're actually making 8 servings of something when you cook that. Right? A family of 4, you're eating it twice because you want it for leftovers too. Now if you want it for leftovers a couple times throughout the week too, you're cooking even more than that. So you really have to be careful of the serving sizes too, so that you're not wasting food, but you're also not having enough and then having to cook more often, right? So we're really trying to save you some time. You want to think about everyone who you're cooking for. What are their likes? Sometimes you want to cater to those, but it is also good to try to expand people's palates. So don't always just stick to their little tiny circle of what they eat. So what are their likes? What are their dislikes? Are there certain allergies? Are your goals maybe different than theirs? So if you are somebody like me who has to have lower carbs for your body to thrive, then you might want to do something like utilize side dishes where you all can have the main meal and then you make an extra side dish of something for, let's say, the kids who are growing like weeds and they need more carbs than you do. So you can have a side of some brown rice pasta, or you can have a side of roasted potatoes or something like that, where they're getting everything they need. You've got your protein, your healthy fat, you've got your colorful veggies, and you're good to go. And maybe for that meal, you don't need all of those extra carbs. So everybody is being able to stick to what they want, what's nutritious for them, but you're not cooking 400 meals. So just make your side dishes work for you here too. That's it, guys. Those are 3 things that a lot of people are not considering when they're doing their meal planning, that I think that if you do start to think about this, it might take an extra couple of minutes per week, but I think you'll find that you really set yourself up with a schedule that's customized and works for you. A lot of people like to just plan out a couple of their dinners and that's their whole meal planning, and that's fine if that works for them, right? Other people want to be really specific. They want like a whole chart, the grocery list, the whole thing. They want to be really, really organized with that. And I like to do both, actually. I've got a little dry erase board that just you can't see my hands, but it's a long dry erase board. It's got Monday through Sunday on there. And so if I want to just do a quick thing, I can just jot down what I'm making each night for dinner. I can, on the bottom, write down what I'm going to pack for lunches too, if I want to think about those things, and I could just fill in the holes where I need to. I could switch it around if we've got like spontaneous plans. But on the other hand, I also do like a really nice, thought out meal plan, especially when I'm really trying to get out of a slump. If I'm feeling stuck and I'm not, if those 3 things. If I'm not feeling like my confidence is where it needs to be, if I'm feeling like my energy is not where it needs to be, and I'm feeling like my health is kind of declining a little bit, I'm noticing signs of inflammation, that's when I will really stick to a meal plan for a certain period of time to just get me over that hump and to really gain the momentum that I need. So tell me if you meal plan, let me know. What's your routine? How do you do it? Do you like to do all the meals, or do you just like to do a few things? Let me know in the comments. I love to hear about this stuff. I could geek out on meal plans all day long, and I'd love to hear from you. If you guys want, I just came out with my own 3-day meal plan. It's called the Hangry Women's 3-Day Plant-Based Meal Plan for Losing Body Fat. It's totally free. I put this thing together because, like I said, I'm a meal planning dork and I like it. And it's my gift to you when you sign up for my newsletter. If you are already on my newsletter, then you have that already. I sent it out on Saturday. But if you're not on my newsletter and you'd like it, just go to TaraAllenHealth.com and you can sign up. You'll see the little tab. It says free meal plan, and you can get it right there. All right, so I hope you guys have a wonderful day and stay warm, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.